What's up, pretty gang? It's your favorite nail tech Peaches back with another video, and today I'm going to talk to you about prep. We know that prep is the foundation that you need before even laying acrylic. I personally consider prep everything you do up until laying that acrylic. It's going to help you with retention, and it's just going to help you with a nice all over base. Okay, before we go ahead and get into it, don't forget we're going to check the description when we get the chance. That has all my coupon codes, my links. I do teach one-on-one, so if you're in or around the Sacramento area and you're looking for help, it does not matter if you are a beginner or if you're an advanced person, I can provide you some help. Okay, so also don't forget to subscribe and turn your notifications on if you're ready to start seeing my videos pop up in your feed. So what you're going to need for prep, you need a good file, a cuticle pusher, and a e-file with the proper sanding band. I use an 8080 black grit file, and I use a medium grit sanding band with the level on 2, speed on 2, which is 2000 RPMs. Now, what you're going to do first with prep is you need to remove the shine from the nails. I personally only use sanding bands. I do not like how it feels using a metal bit on natural nail. Now, when we go ahead and we start the process of removing the shine, you can see we need to get into all of these little crevices. We need to go ahead and make sure the nails are short enough. You cannot leave long nails underneath enhancements, especially tips, because if any injuries arise, you're going to be in trouble. Okay, wherever you glue the tip is going to be the main stress point. So if you accidentally get hurt, the more natural nail that's left under, the greater the risk of hurting yourself. Okay, so this is the more intermediate way to prep a nail. As you see, I'm not using my cuticle pusher because not only for the simple fact that this is a regular, so I know the structure and anatomy of her natural nails, but I've been doing nails for over 5 years now pretty much. And so I personally understand live tissue from dead tissue and things like that, and live skin, dead skin, that whole thing. So I'm less hesitant, and I know exactly where I need to be and when to stop so I don't cut anybody. Okay, now if you're a beginner, you want to push the cuticles back with a cuticle pusher. It does add a little extra time, but once you're able to kind of do this appropriately and you understand how things go, cutting this part out will save you time. So because she is freshly soaked off, going in with the cuticle pusher is not only going to remove the dead skin, which is the cuticle on the nail plate. Remember, the cuticle is the skin that accumulates on the nail plate and not the skin around the nail itself, but also extra residue. And then I would do that on all 10 and then go back in and use your e-file to go ahead and get in all those nooks and crannies. Now, if you don't get in all those nooks and crannies, what's going to happen is that you're going to miss areas, and those areas will be prone to lifting. Okay, now instead of sanding the front, if you're a beginner, right, use some nail clippers or a hand file and go around and get the nail low enough to apply a tip. Be careful because you don't want to hurt or damage the hyponychium in the front and make them bleed, because then that can lead to infection. Okay, so after everything is sanded and what do they call that? The shine, it has been removed nicely. We're gonna go ahead and apply our tips. Now, this part, you need to make sure your tips are nicely sized, okay? And I like to go ahead, I size them, I turn them around to make sure they're pointing the right way, and I just add a little glue in the front to make sure everything's glued properly. Now, as you can see, this particular tip is too big for the ring finger, so I made sure to go ahead and swap it for a size that fits. The tip must fit sidewall to sidewall, not be on the skin, not showing extra nail on the sides. I did show you a bigger size first just so you can compare with the correct size. Now you can see sidewall to sidewall, that little indent in the tip, that is called the well. It needs to fit on there really nicely and perfectly. And then I like to go ahead again, make sure it's facing correctly the right way, and then I'll add a little bit of extra glue to fill in any little air bubbles or gaps. Okay, what happens if the nail tip is not sized properly is either you will have gaps in the acrylic, or the nails will be too tight and they will try to pop themselves off, and it will cause damage to someone's nail. Now, I don't have the clip of me cutting the first finger, the first size of tips, but I like to go ahead and compare them. I do not suggest using the magnet formula or the magnet method, only because you're gonna have to go back and double and triple check. And honestly, some people's cuticle areas don't sit evenly. So you can use the magnets all you want and you can still get a different result. I'm pretty old school, so I personally just prefer to go ahead and measure things out. Doesn't take a lot of time, and either way, you gotta double check. All right, so after that, The last, well, not the last, but one of the last steps in prep is shaping. The reason why I consider this part of prep is because these are all the things that need to happen for your acrylic to have a really, really good starting base. Okay, now I personally do all my shapes by hand. I don't like using pre-shaped tips, just because every pre-shaped tip does not fit everybody the same or very nicely. So you're gonna want to make sure everything is facing all the same way. You know, do your shape however you're gonna do your shape, blend the middle, and make sure everything's good. Now after that, I actually don't use desk brushes anymore. I don't like how they accumulate stuff in them over time. I like to use the same paper towels that I drain my brushes on when I actually do the acrylic. These Viva paper towels, they have so much texture that they just rid of the dust so nicely. And then the final step is going to be do whatever primer that you wish. I don't dehydrate because I find it like pointless, since I just dehydrated the nail and removed the shine with my e-file. But if you like to dehydrate, go ahead and do what works for you. I like to use Young Nails Protein Bond. We do 2 times because that's what the hell Young Nails say to do. Now, after that, we're ready to go ahead and start. Now, my prep takes about 20 minutes. Honestly, everything you see me do here is exactly what I do in real life. This is as short of prep that you're going to see me do. I've gotten it to a point to where it pretty much fits everybody, and this is the final result. I have such good retention, about 4 weeks on hands and 4 to 6 weeks on acrylic toes. I'm really hoping that this video helps those. I mean, it is a pretty quick video, but I hope it's a good refresher for those who needed the help. And as always, I hope you enjoy, and I'll see you guys in the next video.